The rule of three states, things that come in threes are inherently more appealing than those that don't. With the next generation GMC Sierra, Canyon, and Sierra Heavy Duty, we couldn't agree more. Whether you choose to have the world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate, available only on the next generation GMC Sierra SLT, AT4, and Denali models, to confidently take on heavy loads with the available 6.6-liter V8 Duramax turbo diesel in the GMC Sierra Heavy Duty, or to get behind the wheel of the only midsize premium pickup on the road, the GMC Canyon, you'll realize all three help you do one thing: go professional grade. Step up to GMC and get 20% below MSRP on next generation 2019 GMC Sierra Double Cab and SLE Crew Cab models with a traditional tailgate. We are professional grade. GMC. Offer includes price reduction below MSRP and purchase allowance. Not available with special financing, lease, and some other offers. Take retail delivery by 9/3/19. See participating dealer for details.
Hi, this is Tony Ruggiero, the Dew Sweeper. You're about to listen to an episode of The Tour Coach, which is going to give you an inside look at coaching golf at the very highest level, from on the PGA Tour with my guys all the way to here at Mobile, Alabama in the Dew Sweeper Dome, as we help folks of all skill levels, all walks of life, learn to achieve their golfing goals. All right, so sitting in with me here on The Tour Coach now is he's an architect, Hall of Famer, Ryder Cup captain, now added a new title to his name. He's a CBS commentator, Davis Love III. Davis, what's going on?
Oh, just like you said, I'm wearing a lot of different hats. Actually, caddying for my son, Drew, in the second stage of Q School this week. So got a lot going on as usual.
Yeah, you've done a pretty good job caddying for Drew. I think, around most of those really good young guys, like Drew's one of those. Like, I mean, to me, the difference between like somebody that's there and the guy that's on the tour isn't necessarily doing anything with their golf swing. It's like learning to play and, learning some of the nuances of being out there and just becoming more comfortable. To me, seems like a big part of the difference between some of the guys that are on their way up through Q School to the Korn Ferry Tour, all the way to the guys that are playing the tour, at a young age.
Right, it's experience, and you've seen it. You've seen players that can hit the golf ball, and they can hit all the chips, and they can make the putts on the putting greens. But it's experience, and some of the best advice I ever got as a PGA Tour player was from Vinnie Giles, who's my first agent. He was a great amateur player, Walker Cupper, and, won everything as an amateur. He said, it's different when you get a pencil in your pocket, isn't it? And that's the difference.
Yeah.
They hand you a scorecard and a pencil, or they hand you a scorecard that says PGA Tour on the corner of it and a pencil, and you have to keep score. It's a different ball game. And then when you get inside the ropes, it's even harder. And when you get to the 18th hole with grandstands around you, it gets even harder. So that experience is hard to get. I think most of if 10 young tour players, including Drew, walked up to me and said, what do you think I ought to do with my game? I'm going to tell 8 out of 10 to go see Bob Rotella and work on their sports psychology, their pre-shot routine, their discipline, their management of their thoughts and of their game plan and their strategy. And that's the biggest difference, is they can all hit it pretty much. If you get to, qualifying school or Korn Ferry Tour, they can all hit it really good. Some are better than others, but getting the most out of your talent and your game and your swing, that's just experience.
No question about it. So you've been out there a long time, and one of the things that was cool, one of the neater things I've done is, I enjoy teaching young players, junior players that are coming up, and, brought a small group of them several months ago over there to Sea Island, over to Frederica, and, you were still in the boot at that point, and you came out and talked to them, and these kids were just, they ate it up. Like, I could tell them a lot of the same stuff, but they wouldn't listen to it as if you told them. But it was cool because a lot of them came back to me and said, like, they realized they don't need to fix their golf swing. A lot of the things that you told them about getting better were the stuff about, like, using a golf, a mental coach and how to practice and those types of things. I mean, but everybody to me seems to be in such a hurry to give, like, they think that no matter where they go, somebody's going to be able to give them like a one magical piece of information that's going to give you your tour card. And to me, I mean, that doesn't happen very often.
No. And I've been around, as a little kid around Jack Nicklaus, played with Jackie at North Carolina. I was around Jack when I was a college player, came out on tour. And then I literally, from Tiger, the first day Tiger Woods set foot on the PGA Tour, I played a practice round with him. Butch Harmon had me play practice rounds with him when he came out. One of the first things Tiger told me is, I want to beat you down the stretch one day. I was like, oh, great, kid. That sounds good. Well, he won his first tournament, beat me in a playoff. So I have seen what the best players that have ever played, Jack and Tiger, what they do, and it's discipline to do the little things over and over and over again that nobody else wants to do. But you look at Brooks Koepka now. I had to tell Brooks Koepka Saturday morning of the 2016 Ryder Cup to not work out.
Mm-hmm.
Drew's the other way. I got to say, hey, Drew, you're not working out enough. I'm telling Brooks to take a break, buddy. I want you to be ready for Saturday afternoon, and that's the difference. Tiger is having surgery, and then I call him, and he's riding his bike 50 miles. I go, hey, wait a minute, you just had surgery. Yeah, they told me not to run, so I'm riding my bike. They don't give up. They never quit. Just before Japan, Tiger called me and told me, I've been doing this and this and this and this and this. Didn't you just have knee surgery? He goes, yeah, but I'm hitting 5 irons and I'm hitting it great and blah, blah, blah. They are willing to outwork the next guy. And, if Tiger did anything wrong in his career, he overworked.
Right.
He ran down the street too much instead of on a treadmill, or he lifted too many weights, or it wasn't Nick Faldo. Nick Faldo got too strong before anybody was getting. Remember, he went up 2 coat sizes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that they don't want to work. They will outwork you for sure. And that's the thing. It's just a discipline to do it over and over. I remember Jack telling our Ryder Cup team, that he would go to the Masters the week before and play 3 or 4 practice rounds and then go home. He'd probably go home and watch the kids play football or something and come back on Monday, and he was ready to go.
Right.
Everybody else was panicking.
Mm-hmm.
Jack was willing to make an extra trip, play extra rounds, and get ready for the major championships. And you watch Phil over his long career. What did Phil do for majors? He showed up weeks or months before and played more practice rounds than anybody else. And he was more successful at majors than I did it some, but I didn't do it enough, apparently, because Phil got me a lot. And that's the thing, is just that discipline to keep doing it over and over and over again until you get good at it.
I want to talk a little bit about instruction. So I've heard tons of stories. On my way up, I was lucky to be mentored by some great older instructors. Came up in the Golf Digest days. I heard tons of stories about your dad. Talk a little bit, if you don't mind, about your dad was your first golf instructor, obviously, and talk about some of the lessons that he taught you, because I think they're timeless, some of the things that I've heard. And I wish instruction was more like that today.
Yeah, well, he was lucky smart that he ended up at the University of Texas playing for Harvey Penick before Harvey Penick was, a legend. Obviously he had success at the University of Texas, but my dad, played there before Ben Crenshaw and before Tom
Mm-hmm.
Kite. So he got not only great coaching when he was on the team there, but he got a lesson in what it meant to be a golf professional and a golf instructor. Not only to honor the game and carry on the traditions of the game, but how to teach. And so when my dad, realized he wasn't going to be a tour player, he sought Harvey out more and more about learning how to teach. So my dad taught really, really simple stuff. He fixed your game by finding one thing in your swing that would fix all your problems. And one of the smartest things he ever did with me when I got to be, pretty good is he said, all right, I'm going to get a vote and you're going to get a vote. And then your body, your feel is going to get a vote. So if I tell you to do something and it doesn't feel right and you don't like it, then we're going to figure out a different way to do it. He never said, this is how we're going to swing the golf club and you do it until, your hands bleed. He would figure out a way to make it work. I think that's what made him a great teacher. He'd watch somebody swing and figure out one little thing that would fix all the problems. And, talking about CBS, I'm not going to be Peter Costas on Swing Vision and break down a swing and tell you how to fix it. Now, I can tell you what's wrong with it. That guy's across the line, but I don't know why,
Right.
My dad could say, and you can too, you say, well, he's across the line because of his grip. And we can get him to fix his grip without messing him up.
That's awesome. I think it was last year I went out and I spent a few days I wanted to shadow Butch. I'd always been a fan and wanted to spend a couple days doing it. And I got the chance to go out there. And that was one of the things he said was, he was talking to a group of amateurs, and they said, his job was to try to find the one thing that fixed everything. So all you had to do was try to do one thing. And I think that's the mark of a great teacher, though, is a person that you leave with like one thing you're trying to do, and you don't have 20 thoughts going on of 20 things you're trying to fix. So now you're wearing a bunch of different hats. You've been a golf course architect for a while. In fact, there's one just down the road from us in Mississippi, Shell Landing, that I've played a good bit over the years. But you just redid the plantation course there at Sea Island, where the RSM is going to be held in a couple weeks. Talk a little bit about, one, what you think about being an architect. What does that do for you? And talk a little bit about the plantation course, because, I haven't been out there yet, going to be out there in a few weeks, but the reviews are fantastic.
Yeah, we have a tough review board down there at Sea Island. Not only are the ladies all know me, unfortunately, in the ladies groups, so they won't tell me if they don't like it. Fortunately, they're pretty happy. And then we have a bunch of tour pros there, from regular tour, Corn Ferry Tour, one Champions Tour down there, and a bunch of kids. You know the game down there.
Oh yeah,
it's just incredible how many great players we have there. So yeah, the reviews from everybody have been pretty good. But I got into the architecture again because of my dad. He had a friend named Bob Spence that was kind of legendary in the teaching and then in the golf course construction business. And Bob got us into it. And unfortunately, we lost Bob a year ago. He hadn't been working for us for the last 4 or 5 years because he got sick. But we just got into it because it's, again, part of the family business. My dad was interested in it when we were kids, and Mark and I love just being around the game, and the design is just so much fun to get out there and create something. And there's kind of no right or wrong. It's like art. You might like one artist, I might like another. I like one architect, you like another. We're fans of the old school stuff. Mm-hmm. And most of the stuff we build is paying tribute to Donald Ross or Tillinghast. The one we just did at Sea Island is more of a C.B. McDonald or Seth Rayner look. And all the tour players ask me, what's plantation like? How did it come out? You like Greenbrier when we play up there? And they go, yeah, we love that. I go, good. You'll be happy. Nobody says they don't like Greenbrier, and nobody says, I don't like National Golf Links, or I don't like Yeamans Hall in South Carolina. So that's kind of the style that we built. So it looks like it's been at Sea Island for a long time. It doesn't look like a new modern course. And when you drive in that big avenue of the Oaks up to the lodge, the golf on both sides, it looks like it's been there a long time. A little bit of a tribute to Pete Dye, a little bit with some lay down railroad tie walls and railroad tie treatments like you saw on the new driving range or around the new putting course that opened last year. Pete was great to me as a up and coming tour pro, and then also as an architect, again, another friend of my dad's. And my favorite story about being a golf course architect was Pete and I were standing at the Hilton Head Airport one year after the tournament. He said, so you're an architect now, huh? I said, yes, sir. He goes, no, you're not a golf course architect. He goes, until you get on the equipment and you build it yourself, you're not a golf course architect. So I was told that story so many times that people say, well, there's not very many golf course architects.
Awesome. Davis, great stuff. I know you wear a lot of hats and you're busy, but thanks for sitting and doing this. And also thanks for taking the time when I've had some kids down there to spend some time with them. It means a lot to them. Appreciate it. And I'll look forward to hanging out with you a little bit, I'm sure, down the road over there and during the RSM.
Yeah, we're glad to have you on the island and see you during the RSM. Keep bringing those young kids out.
We'll do it.
Us old guys out of the way.
All right. We'll do it. We'll do it. Thanks, Davis.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Tour Coach with Tony Ruggiero. If you enjoyed this, make sure to hit subscribe, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you are listening to this podcast. You can stay up to date because we have weekly episodes coming your way with fascinating people in the world of golf instruction at the highest level. Make sure to subscribe and stay tuned. If you want to learn more about Tony, head over to dewsweepersgolf.com to get all the details on what he's up to. Maybe you want to see him, grab a lesson, or go to one of his camps, pick up his book, Lessons from the Legends. You can do that there. If you want to see Tony in action with some videos and other content, head over to golfsciencelab.com/Tony to get more info there. This episode was powered by the Golf Science Lab, and was edited, mixed, and produced by Just Hit Publish Productions.
There's one thing, if you know about me, if you've listened to the Dew Sweepers, you've come to listen to me talk, is you know I'm big on loyalty. We give 100% here at the Dew Sweepers. We put a lot of emotional investment into everything we do with every one of our players. And the same can be said for our partners and the folks that have been with us for the long haul and help the Dew Sweepers, help our juniors, help us get to our tour players. And so I want to give a special thanks to our sponsors. Our sponsors are, first and foremost, Buick and our local Buick dealers here around the Southeast, Srixon Cleveland Golf, who've been with me for over a dozen years, and their belief and support of what we do here with the Dew Sweepers. And lastly, the folks at Vineyard Vines. The folks at Vineyard Vines love what we do with junior golf. They support us on the road. There isn't a better family or group of people that are going to help us look our best, play our best, and have more fun than the folks at Vineyard Vines. So special thanks to our sponsors. Please support those as you get the opportunity. And for more information about any of those, check us out at dewsweepersgolf.com, or you can always check me out on Instagram at the Dew Sweeper.